Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Joy Efe, and if you're a returning subscriber, don't forget I love you. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I wrapped this notebook. It's an Ankara notebook. I used an Ankara fabric. It's a regular notebook. Then I wrapped it with Ankara. If you have a peeling notebook, if you want to wrap maybe your church jotter, you want to wrap your children's notes, this is a DIY for you. Then if you want to start up a business, you can use this as a souvenir. Let's get right into it. So in this DIY, all you'll be needing is your book, a thick notebook, not a soft notebook. You can try using a soft notebook though, but I used a thick back notebook. So you'll be needing your thick back notebook. You'll be needing any fabric of your choice, any preferred fabric of your choice. You'll be needing your gum. These are the three major items. Then your scissors, of course, to cut. So these are like the major items you need to start this DIY. Your notebook and the fabric of your choice. Then any gum of your choice. I used elephant gum. That's what I work with. So you can use elephant gum. You need your brush, your application brush. You can use your hand if you want, but I use brush to work. So you use your brush as well. Then you might need a knife in between. You might likely use a knife or you don't. It's your choice. Just use something that is okay for you. Use something that is accessible. You don't have to use every items I use here. Just try to improvise. Then now what you just need to do is you start by applying your gum on the fabric. Your gum on the notebook. Apply your gum on the notebook. Allow it to sit for a few seconds. Elephant gums tend to stick very, very fast, so I don't really leave it for long. I leave it for very few seconds, maybe 5-6 seconds. I don't even leave it up to 10 seconds. Just leave it for maybe 5-6 seconds after application, and then you can just add your fabric to it. The reason you allow your gum to sit a bit before putting your fabric is to reduce the wetness. Gum is usually wet, so you allow it to get dry not really dry, like just allow breeze to blow it a bit before you put your fabric to it. If it's too dry, it's not going to stick. Then if it's too wet, it's going to stain your fabric. So that's just it. So you allow it to sit for a while, just few seconds, then before you apply. So if you can see it well, you see it's a bit whitish on the notebook. So this is like a sign that okay, it's getting dried, so you can just use it here. So once you notice it's no longer wet, you can just put it on the fabric, and that is that. So you apply gum on the other part of the book too, and then just stick it before we continue. Yeah, after putting the fabric, you don't just leave it. Make sure you observe. Try to make sure the fabric is sitting well. If there's any folding, if there's any bulging out, just stretch. You are doing this with allowance on every side of the book, so you have to leave like a folding allowance. This allowance makes your work very neat. Like you can do this work, your very first attempt can look so professional and so perfect. So it's very simple. Just pay attention to details. That's the most important thing. So this time around, when you are done with one part of the bag of the book, you can then turn to the other side, apply gum, wait to allow it to dry a bit, then just stick it. After sticking, you go up from there. Yes, as I stated earlier, make sure there is no air. Like when putting the fabric, pay attention to details, make it sit well. There should be no air, like don't allow the fabric to bulge out. If you notice any folding, just try and stretch it out, allow it to sit pretty on the book. It's advisably you use a cotton fabric. I work strictly on cotton fabrics, so it's easier to work on cotton fabrics, then it's more beautiful to use cotton fabric. When I mean cotton fabric, I mean those expensive Ankara. All those cheaper Ankara are nylon, so even when you work with them, they tend to wash off later. So it's better you work with cotton fabric. So once you are done with both sides, you trim out the excess with allowance. You leave the allowance and then we continue from there. Here you can see now the book is gradually taking shape. Oh my God, this is beautiful. It's taking shape. This is my school notebook. Oh. I thought of making a DIY and then I remembered, oh, I actually have a school notebook I intend to wrap. Why not just do it with my notes instead? So I'm going to be rocking this note and I can imagine. I'm very excited. So you're going to trim. Okay, there's this pattern on the book. Just follow that pattern because there's this part of the book that is hidden, so you need to like make that place neat. I tend to see some persons trim that part out. No, you are not supposed to trim it out. You are supposed to chuck in it under the notes, the pieces of the notes. Yes, so you are going to like trim. Just follow this procedure. I don't know how to explain this part of the book, but I just know there's this part of the book that is hidden. If you are not careful, that part of your book is going to be very rough. So what you do is you try to chuck in. That's what gives your book this uniqueness. When I show people my book that I wrap, and they were like, are you sure you wrapped this book? Because there's this perfection in the notes. Like you try to like wonder, okay, if she wraps this book, why is this place covered? How did she manipulate this place? So the reason for this DIY is to show you this exact part, how I manipulate this part. Yes, this part gives you the perfect finishing of your work. This is the part that gives you the finishing. It's not about wrapping a book, but it's you giving it to this perfection, you know. So you're going to wrap this book. Pay attention to this part, because this part this is the part they call wrapping of book, not really just putting the book at the back. Sorry, not putting the fabric at the back. So you are going to tape in this excess just to give it a nice finishing. Yes, then this edge that have this whitish edge on the fabric, you can trim it out. When you trim it out, it gives you a perfect finishing. I didn't trim mine out, but at some point I think I have to remove some parts so that it doesn't have to show. Yes, so just do your finishing, make it fine, pay attention, allow your gum to sit a bit, and that is that. This is like less than a 5-minute DIY. It's beautiful, it's unique. When you are done with it, then you will love your job. Okay, this is why I said we should trim out this whitish edge. I did trim it immediately, but at some point I had to remove it because, okay, I think I removed the one on one edge here. Then later I removed the other edge because then I noticed it was going to show, and the idea is for it not to show. So you wrap your book in a way that when someone sees it, is like he feels it's impossible to wrap this book ahead. So that's the idea behind me wrapping my book. So at some point I had to remove that whitish part. You need to remove it to give your book a perfect finishing. As usual, allow it to sit for some time, then you can just wrap or you tape in. This part is called taping in, like you fold in the excess. The reason for taping in is to give you a nice finishing, a neat finishing. It's like you're covering the edge of a thing. So in craft we call it taping in. Yeah, you tape in. Okay, if you will notice I trim off the top edge of my folding. I didn't know my camera was not positioned well, so I'm sorry about that, but I trim off the top of my folding. Why? Just to give it an access to access gum. So the reason why you trim out is just to give it this access to sit pretty. Yeah, that's the idea. So if it's folded, you have like two edges to work on, but then when you trim out, you still have to work with one edge. So that's just the idea of you trimming off that top edge of the fabric, and then it gives you a good finishing and a relaxed finishing as well. That's just the reason for trimming out. La la, are you seeing what I'm saying? Can you see this notebook? Oh my god, this semester is going to be fire. I'm excited when I'm doing what I love. See how beautiful this notebook is looking. Is it the fabric? The fabric is giving. Oh my god. Okay, this was the edge I was talking about initially. You have to chalk in this edge out. This is the trickish part in this book wrapping. So you have to just put a little gum and just chalk in it immediately. In this part, if you allow the gum to dry up, it might likely be rough. It will get rough because fabric and gum, they are very compactable, so it will just rumple, and so immediately you just put a little gum, just insert it immediately, so the thing just goes in and just dry there and sticks there. That's the idea behind it. So you don't, in this part, you don't apply gum, then you wait for it to dry. No, immediately you put gum, just insert the fabric immediately. Why I paused this, the knife I used was stained with gum. I like my work having a very perfect finishing. So after like putting gum in there, I applied gum on the other part, then I cleaned the edge of my knife. Why? Because I didn't want, while I was trying to chuck in that part in, gum will now stain my note. No. With this fine note I'm saying, no. Gum doesn't have a place in my fabric anymore. So after applying it, you just clean, or if you have something else, you can just use something else to chucking it in. Yes, that's the idea. Not like I allowed it to get dry. You don't allow it to get dry. And then when you put it in, I love this fabric. I love the book. Like, the finishing is top notch. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? There's this beautiful thing about creating content. After creating, of course, you have to go and edit, put it in order and all that. And then you begin to watch what you did and begin to admire yourself. You can imagine I made a video and then I'm watching that same video and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually beautiful. This is something that you don't get to see while you are making the video. But then when you sit to watch your video, there's just this thing you feel as though you were not the one that made the video. So that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, this is beautiful. Shebi, you're seeing it now. Are you seeing it? So all you need to do now is take one piece of your note, like the last part before the back of the note, and just stick it to the back to cover all this your excess. Yes, all the finishing, all the rough notes, all the rough fabric and all. So that's just what is remaining. Yeah, this is beautiful. I remember I said earlier that I didn't like, I love a perfect finished work. I pay attention to details. So the reason why I'm putting gum on this edge again is I noticed like it was coming up and I didn't like that. So I just dropped gum on it. So just little gum on it so it just sticks and just stay down. The work is, the idea is for it to stay down, not stay and later start coming up. You see this note? You can use this note for as long as you want because you used a fabric. The fabric does not make your note tear. So if you are the type that, especially church jotter, you see church jotter, because you keep writing, you keep opening and closing all your work jotter. A jotter you use all the time. You open, you close, you open, you close. Before you know, it begins to lose the strength of the gum begins to loosen. But once you wrap it with fabric, it has this firmness for long. I have books I've wrapped for years and they are just still there. And then when you now use a cotton fabric, my God, that fabric is not going to stain. It's going to be ever new. It's going to be as good as new, even after using it for years. Yes, that's the idea of using good fabric. So right here, you use the last page on your note before the back of the note. Just apply gum and cover the note. Apply gum on the page immediately and cover the gum. You don't allow it to sit. And once you cover, you are good to go. That is it, baby. Yeah, this is our finishing. So immediately you apply gum, just cover. Don't try to arrange it. No, this part you don't arrange. Allow the book to arrange itself. Yes. So apply gum on the part of the note, on the last part of the note that you want to stick to the back of the note. Immediately you are done applying gum on every part. Don't leave any part untouched, especially the edges, because right now what you want it to do, you want it to cover your the rough part of your work, and then it should stick. And of course, you trust paper now. Paper always sticks. So, but in between, just try to apply gum on every part of the paper. And then once you are done, just cover the note. You cover. You don't carry the paper and place it on the cover. No. Immediately you cover, the note is going to position it how it wants it to be. Sorry, here I was trying to put gum and then I applied the gum that came out way too much. I was trying to pack them back and all that. Yes, so all you need to do is apply gum on every part and then cover your book. are good to go. You don't have to work on both sides with your gum. Why? Because you don't really need it, and then you don't have to waste your gum. If this is your first time in my channel, don't forget to click on the subscription button, yes, and put on your notification bell, because this time I'm going to be giving you guys back to back, one day one DIY. Let's do one day one DIY for now. So please don't forget to put on your notification bell and click on the subscription button. I love you, and we are going to learn a lot in this channel. Thank you. This is it, guys. Check out the finishing, check out the beauty, check out the uniqueness. This is beautiful. I can't wait to see your picture. So if you attempt this book, please don't forget to send me pictures and drop your comment. Thank you. Bye bye.